night, you know how you jolt upright and from a dream or something, and what I think when that happens is, who is / Coleman? Did you ever have that experience? Like you really don't know who he really is? Because I feel like I've been duped. I've known Slash for 43 years. We're the same age. We grew up together. We went to elementary school together. We were at each other's bar mitzvahs. And after 43 years, I learned things on the first page of his new book that I never knew in all these years of being friends with him. And just to give you a little example, you know, when you publish a book, you have to look for people who are either famous or respectable to write a blurb on the back of the book. And so Slash sent out a lot of queries, and he got some responses. He couldn't use them all, but these are some that he didn't use. First one says, quote, Slash was, hands down, the most outrageous and funny guy in our infantry unit. Always the prankster. One day in the middle of Desert Storm with bombs and shrapnel and dust everywhere, in the scorching 103-degree desert heat, Slash crept up to the front line, hid behind a sand dune, and tossed a water balloon like a grenade into enemy territory and then scampered back to our platoon. Now the problem was the enemy was actually 16 miles away. And that blurb, which he didn't use on the book, was from Brigadier General Sheila Bornstein, who added, quote, I slept with Coleman. It was okay. Then this one came in from a Dr. Martin Edelstein, a neurophysicist at UC Berkeley. Quote, when Slash and I were colleagues in the physics department, we became drinking buddies. The man could hold his liquor like no one I'd ever met. Slash could put away a dozen white Russians in under an hour, and the only way you'd know he had been drinking at all was that he'd suddenly start speaking fluent Russian and would eventually leave the bar with no pants on. And then he added, oh, and I slept with Coleman. It was okay. So you really get to know parts of Slash's life in his new memoir, The Bohemian Love Diaries, more than from knowing him personally. Like I learned about his early childhood. He was actually born on the streets of New York City in the Bowery. He was the bastard child of a former Barnum and Bailey bearded lady sword swallower turned junkie and an accountant. And his mom left the circus and Slash when he was only 2 months old and left him on the street on a flattened piece of cardboard with a cup and a sign that said, feed the baby. And believe it or not, I mean, it actually is believable, Slash started raking it in, and he was making about $500 to $600 a week. And within 6 months, when he was 6 months old, he got a position in the New York Stock Exchange as an investment broker, and he was known throughout Wall Street as the Kid. And to this day, he is my go-to man for all things financial. If there's anything, if you want to know about mutual funds, annuities, stocks, bonds, interest rates, Slash is the man to talk to. Now, actually, if you know him, I am exaggerating a little bit, but this guy can make change like no one I've ever met. And I just want to give you one example. Yesterday, I owed him $4. So I reached into my wallet and I handed him a $5. And I swear, without batting an eye, without thinking, he just opened his wallet, took out a $1 bill and handed it to me. It was all up here. The man is a brilliant mathematical genius as well as a creative artist. So.
Go Eliezer.
Tell us
anyway,
more.
I just want to end by saying how the two of us met, because it was the weirdest of circumstances. This sounds like I made it up, but I swear to God I didn't. I was working as a psychiatrist in the Galapagos Islands in the middle of nowhere. And one night after hours, I got called in for an emergency, and apparently Slash was in the midst of one of his many heartbreaking end-of-relationship dramas, and was just miserable, and he spiked his daily spirulina pomegranate juice kale smoothie with a combination of LSD, psilocybin, ecstasy, Geritol, and Pepto-Bismol. and he was found walking down the streets of downtown Main Street in downtown Galapagos, wearing a full rabbit suit, screaming, "Free the bunnies! Free the bunnies!" So they brought him into me, and I gave him a sedative. He calmed down, and he actually became my patient. I saw him 3 days a week for 2 years, and after he got over the relationship, he was like a really tough nut to crack because, as one of my cases, he really had nothing bothering him. He was basically a happy guy. He never had any complaints. And the only reason I thought he should remain in therapy is I couldn't get him to take the rabbit suit off, and I couldn't get him to wear pants. So he remains my only unsolved mystery case of mistaken identity. And so without delay, I want to introduce to you both the hero of Bohemian Love Diaries, but more important, the champion of mistaken identities, Coleman.